Hey everybody, Amanda Ziva here. I'm going to show you the pre-planned September calendar. Confession, I forgot to record the Zoom call. So I'm just going to walk you through it now, which is probably even better for those of you who weren't there because it will be a much more efficient and speedy version of this. So if as you're watching you have any questions, know that you can email me at any time. But let's just dig right into this. I'm so excited to show you the calendar. So here we are. As always, I'm going to start off with a letter to you to kind of set the tone for the month. And this month's theme is all about routine and how leaning into it is going to be our saving grace when our plates feel full. There's a Harvard Business Review study that said as grown-ups, we make 33,000 decisions a day, right? Some of them are like really easy ones, like, am I going to itch my face or not? Am I turning left or right? But some of them are bigger and require a lot more work. And the more we can take those decisions off our plate, the more we can pre-plan, the more we can lean into routine, just the way we do things, the more brain energy we are going to have to devote to the things that are really important. So read this and then lean hard into routine this fall. It's when I am the most happy and find the most joy is when I am efficient and getting things done. And if that's you as well, then you're really, really going to love this letter. And also to think about how routine impacts our students and the beauty of it for them as well. Like structures and boundaries, like sometimes feel like icky words, but within schools, we can be much more efficient and much more effective. We can create safe spaces and environments that kids know what to expect. And so then they can just kind of let their guard down a little bit. They can feel safer and then also more efficient. So routine, we love it. Um, we've got the September calendar there for you, and here is the first most exciting important part, and that is the first chapter Fridays. These are the first chapter Fridays we are going to be reading this month. Restart by Gordon Corman, A Rover Story by Jasmine Warga, Bomb by Steve Shivkin, and Alone by Megan Freeman. I'm going to quick stop sharing and my books. Go through these all really quick. So, in case you are unfamiliar with these books, here's the book talk so you know what we're covering. Restart by Gordon Corman is a prose novel, not very long. And it's about this boy who wakes up one day and all he remembers is his name. That's it. He just knows that he's Chase and nothing else. And as he's navigating his life, he's noticing that people are afraid of him. They like are distancing themselves from him. They are like giving him the side eye. They are not very nice to him. And he's like, what the heck? Like, why are people treating me like this? And he, over the course of several experiences, figures out that pre-amnesia, he was a really big bully and he was really unkind to a lot of people, both in his family and in his school. And like he is carrying the burden of those consequences, even though he doesn't remember what happened. Um, and so the first thing he has to figure out is like, who do I want to be? And he doesn't want to be that bully anymore. And so it takes him a while to like extricate himself from that life. And then also even longer to convince everybody else in his life that he's not that person anymore, that he is getting a restart, he's getting a fresh start, a do-over, if they will let him. This is an incredible book to start with at the beginning of the school year because we're all getting that fresh start, right? We're all getting an opportunity to begin again. And the relationships and the events in this book are just so real and so relatable. It's going to be a fantastic book. You're going to love it. The next one is A Rover Story by Jasmine Warga. And it's about a rover. The main character is a rover that's going to Mars, and it doesn't begin having like human emotions and thoughts, but the more time it spends with humans, the AI within it is helping it to understand what human emotions are. And it's a great book for SEL because Perseverance will ask a lot of questions like, why are the humans doing this? Why does the human's face look like that? Like understanding facial expressions and social cues. And so for students in your class that might struggle with those things, it's an awesome opportunity to learn. It was also an amazing space story. I love a good space story, even though it would stress me out immensely to be an astronaut. I like reading about it. But the thing that as Perseverance, the rover, becomes more and more human-like, it discovers that more than anything, it wants to do something that will make the humans proud enough to bring her home. Because up until this point, any rover that's ever gone to Mars has like worked until it doesn't work anymore and then they leave it there. And she's like, I don't want to be left there. I want to come home. And the way that I can do that, and to my humans, and the way that I can do that is to do something that makes them so proud that they will work hard to bring me home. And it's such a lovely, lovely story. I love Jasmine, this book. And you guys, the cover, like it's gorgeous. I love this book. And not just because it matches my nails today. Uh, Bomb by Steve Schenken is a graphic novel. Basically, this is the movie Oppenheimer in a comic book. It is fantastic. It's a fast read. It's compelling and engaging, and it made me want to know more. If I could say anything about this book that would sell it, it is that it made me want to know more. So I went to the library and I checked out the nonfiction prose version of this book so that I could learn all the things that this just had to quickly cover or maybe gloss over. Kids who like World War II, kids who like secrets and spies, kids who like graphic novels, nonfiction, fantastic. I loved this book. And then Alone by Megan E. Freeman. You might pick up this book and say, wow, it is huge. Like that's really overwhelming, but it's not, because it's a novel in verse and it is so fast. And it is it's a survival story. So this girl, she wants to stay overnight at her grandparents' house, a sleepover. My kids are making faces at me through the window. She wants to stay overnight at her grandparents' house. Her grandparents have two homes. They're not staying in the one. And so she and her girlfriends plan, let's tell our parents we're somewhere else and we're all going to go here. They're not going to be naughty. They just want to watch movies and eat popcorn and stay up late without their little siblings. So they make this plan. The main character has divorced parents, so she kind of tells her parents that she's at the other one's house. And she gets to her grandparents' house, but then one of the friends gets sick and the other one fails. And so she ends up there alone. She's like, this is the bummer. It's not really what I wanted to do, but no big deal. I'll just sleep over and I'll go back home in the morning. Except for when she wakes up, she discovers that her entire town is evacuated. Like there is nobody there. And it's not like big booming metropolis, but it's like a town, like with people, and there's nobody there. And when she starts calling her parents and her friends on the cell phone, like trying to find somebody, she starts hearing this ringing. And there's this huge trash can full of cell phones. Probably her parents and her friends, because they're ringing in there and they don't have them. She has no way to contact anyone to find out what has happened. She's all alone in this town. And you guys, she ends up being all alone in this town for 3 years. All by herself. I mean, there's a dog, but all by herself, right? She's melting snow in the bathtub to drink water. She's trying to figure out how to get food. Like it's an incredible survival story. You're gonna love it. Kids are gonna be sucked in. It's amazing. When we have our author lunch bunch Zoom, Megan is coming and Gordon Corman is coming. So super pumped about that. Jasmine's at a book festival. She can't come, but we do have the several author interview videos with Jasmine on our channel. So you can do that. And then I've been talking with Nick Bertozzi, who is the artist for this book. And so my fingers are crossed that I can get him to come too. And I haven't talked to Steve, but I'm hoping that if I can get Nick to come, that he can get Steve to come. So we'll see. We'll see. So those are the first chapter Fridays that we're going to do this month. A little bit of something for everybody. Realistic fiction, science fiction, survival story, nonfiction, graphic novel, prose, novel and verse. So it's going to be awesome. Okay. Next on the resource calendar are our brain breaks. We've got Spot It, which is like, remember those games like you'd go to a bridal shower, right? And they'd bring out the tray with all the items on it, perfume, lipstick, like a fly swatter, I don't know, like all these random things on the tray, and they'd be like, memorize it, and then you'd leave, and they'd take something off, and you'd bring it back, and you'd have to figure out what was missing. That's what this game is. Guess the author trivia is facts about authors plus a reading recommendation activity after it. We're going to look into that one a little bit further here in just a second. Yellow trivia is in the color trivia series. So all facts about things that are yellow, trivia questions like yellow brick road, yellow submarine, how do they make Kraft mac and cheese yellow, things like that. And then wacky fact trivia is all sorts of crazy facts about animals and places and earth and things like what color is hippopotamus milk? It's pink. How many flies and spiders and bugs do we eat in our lifetimes as humans while we sleep? It's the number's way higher than you think, and it's disgusting. Does Germany have more castles than America has McDonald's? I don't know. All of those wacky facts are in there. And your kids are going to love them. I'm gonna slide down really quick to the Guess the Author trivia quiz. So here's how this one works. I have a book cover on screen, and then I put a fact about the author, or a question about the author. I put a fact about the author up there, and then I give you several authors to choose from. You can see that on the book cover, I've blacked out the author's name so they can't see it there. And then after I give you all the answers and I tell you who was the correct author for each one, then I also give you a page with all of the books that were featured in the trivia quiz and their first chapter Friday read alouds. So if a kid was like, oh, that author sounds really interesting, I would love to read one of their books, or that book cover looks really cool, I'm super interested in that, or I learned a fact about that book and now I want to read it, you can get them started right away. It also has QR codes and links to some author interviews for some of the authors that were featured. Most of my Brain Break quizzes have 20 questions. This one only had 10 because I didn't want to overwhelm the kids with reading recommendation options. I felt like 20 would just be too much to process at once. And so I'm probably going to make a second, maybe third, maybe fourth set of these featuring different books and different authors. But I'm really excited about this one because I think it's fun and it's functional with getting kids into books and like teaching them that authors are real human beings. They don't live on some fantasy planet. This is a real job, writing books. And if you want that job, like, here are these real humans, and it could be you too. So excited about that. The next resource that we have listed in here, sorry, avert your eyes so you're not sick, are the writing prompts. So there's one for every day of the year, of the month. And for each set, I'm going to give you like a quick overview of the week. Like, here's the prompt titles this week, and here are the skills that those prompts are going to cover. So for example, on Tuesday, your perfect day, that's going to be a personal reflecting kind of writing. On Thursday, a tour of your town. It tells you that an alien has shown up and they're asking for a tour of your town. Where would you take them first? What would you tell them about? So you can lean into creative writing. You can lean into like personal reflection of your town. You can lean into setting and talking about how you talk about places and time periods. And then also maybe some genre elements of science fiction. So prompt every single day. I'll go to the grid view here so you can see. Just real quick, we've got some caption this, like what caption would you write? We've got some like famous, like if you could be famous for any one skill, like what would you want to be famous for? We've got to make a list of some sensory details and then include them in a story. If you found a wallet of $47, what would you do with that $47? If you could trade places with anyone, who would you trade with? So lots of great, well, this is one of my favorites. Imagine that there are invisible bridges between buildings, but only some people can see them, and you are one of them. How would you use this special talent? So lots of cool, highly engaging prompts that I'm super excited about it. Let's scan down to the lessons. So there are 3 lessons that are included in this pre-planned monthly calendar. And the first one is this library scavenger hunt. I'm going to go off screen here for a second and just talk about this. So sometimes when we take our students to the library, we just send them out, say like, here we are in this place with all these books, wander amongst them, and may the odds be ever in your favor that you find one you like. Okay. I don't know what our intentions are with that. Like, I think we hope they're gonna find a great book, but um, it's probably not very effective. So I thought that we could do better with this. Also, I wanted a way that our students wouldn't just be like hiding behind shelves and talking with each other, um, not about books, while we were in the library. So I came up with this library scavenger hunt activity. Let me show you. So what you do is you send them into the library with one of these lists, okay? And you say, I want you to find books that, let's say we're going to do the title one, have 5 books that have a 1-word, 2-word, 3-word, 4-word, and 5-word title. So for example, like Alone could be one of our books for the 1-word title, or A Rover Story is 3 words, okay? So we go and we find all 5 of those books. You could put a timer on the activity if you really want to like ramp up the competition level of it. Or you could say you have to do it absolutely silent, like you know your librarian and like how much hullabaloo they are going to allow in their library. So plan wisely, because this activity is something you can do again and again and again. And if it goes poorly, you might not be invited back. So, choose wisely. But then once they have all of those books, then they will look through them, look at the cover, read the blurb, try the first chapter, look at the format, and then they'll decide which one they want. And even though it's a random collection of books, like they're going to be more excited and interested to dig into them. And there's lots of different ones. So you could do book color cover. You could do the image on the cover. Like you need to find a book that has an animal, a vehicle, a person, a food, and a building. Like 5 different books that meet all those characteristics. And one of the hugest aspects of this is that kids are going to remember that they had fun in the library. Like if we get nothing else out of that, they're gonna be like, do you remember that time we went to the library and we did this crazy thing and it was so fun? Yeah, that is what we are looking for. If we make this a place that they want to be, and they want to repeat the activity, winning. Everything else will be easier after that. Okay, so there's also a follow-up sheet that you can use after they have looked. There's some blank ones if you want to come up with your own. With this library scavenger hunt sheet, once they've looked at them all and they've picked out a book, they can use this to reflect. This top half is like immediately, like, why did you pick this book out of the other ones? And then the second half is maybe a week, 2 weeks later, after reading this book for a while, like, what is it that you enjoy? Do you want to continue? And give me a brief summary. So like a real quick check-in to follow it up. And then they could also use these posters to be like, hey, here's this book that I found while we were doing our scavenger hunt. I loved it. Here's why. You should read it too. And so like it continues on. The next lesson, multi-day lesson, is for story elements. First things first, I've got a video here that just talks to you about how I like to teach story elements. I've come up with an acronym, C3SPTR, or C3 story parts that rock, which really just stands for character, conflict, climax, setting, point of view, theme, and resolution. But if they can remember C3SPTR, or C3 story parts that rock, then they can more easily remember all 7 of those story elements. This PowerPoint goes through all of those 7 story elements, giving you definitions and examples. And then the next activities that we go through here are just practicing those story elements, creating a t-shirt for a character, maybe in the book you're reading or in a book that you're writing. Coming up with a personality trait or characteristic for every letter of the alphabet. Great way to do this would be to talk about physical traits and personality traits and how they differ, and maybe require a few of each on here. Then we will take this and create a missing persons report for our character. Again, this could be for a character we're creating or for a character in a book that we're reading. The next one is for a character that you're reading about, they're facing a problem, what advice would you give to them? So practicing friendly letter format and connecting with literature. Point of view versus perspective. I love teaching point of view. So many fun ways you can do this. This video is actually 30 minutes and it's direct instruction, like perfect for a sub plan, or like if you've never taught point of view or perspective before, like let me take the lead for you. Let me show you how to do this. Lots of examples. Another great way to like show reading recommendations and content at the same time. At the end of this, there's an awesome fractured fairy tale. activity. And so if that's something you already do in your lessons or in your curriculum, this is going to be a great resource for that. Then there's some practice pages. Just here's like an overview of what point of view is. And then here are 5 movie clips, and the kids will watch them and they'll have to tell you what kind of point of view it's coming from. And then the same thing with some passages from books. Is this first, second, or third? And can you highlight the words that help you identify that you have correctly chosen the right point of view? Setting is my favorite story element. And these pages give you lots of different ways to practice it. This is one of my favorite parts right here. Oftentimes we think about setting, we think about a location, but really setting is time and place. And when we're writing that, how can we include those details without saying it was Sunday, August 18th at 3:38 in the afternoon? Like, how can we convey that it is 2024? How can we communicate that I am in the Midwest? And we can do that with a lot of different things. We can look at the position of the sun in the sky. We can look at the meals people are eating at that time. We can look at clothing. We can listen to accents. We can use props and things around us. Like if this were, I mean, I know most people drink coffee all day long, but I just have 1 cup in the morning. So like, that could be a cue to people. So it's a great overview and like a resource list for students to have while they're writing, and then they can practice with these next few pages. Then we do the same thing that we have done for genre with story elements with genre. There's a PowerPoint here that defines 14 different genres and how they kind of break down and how students can identify them. It's got some examples as well, and then a quick comprehension quiz check. Okay, those were the lessons. Here are the additional resources. We've got some First Chapter Friday mystery quotes. So if you're familiar with my First Chapter Friday videos, there's a mystery quote in several of them. Like the word will appear on screen one at a time. It's a quote from the book. And you can just have your students write it down on scratch paper and turn it in. But this resource levels that up, that engagement factor up, and tells you how to implement it. There's a video that walks you through how to do it and like how I came up with a strategy. Spoiler alert, like pop-up videos. Do you remember those from VH1 and HGTV? Renovation Island. Yeah. Yes, please. So, and then it also has some sheets that take this strategy a little bit deeper if you want more than just the quote. Those are there for them. And then some First Chapter Friday book posters. So a lot of times teachers will have outside their classroom, like Mrs. Eva is reading in that book, but you could also showcase the First Chapter Fridays that you guys are reading. Oh, it says holes. It's not holes. It's not holes. It's Restart by Gordon Corman. I'll fix that. You can post them on a bulletin board. You can put them by your classroom library. You can put them in a binder just so students can be like, hey, what was that one that we did last week? And then they can more easily make the connection to the actual book and make that reading magic happen. I've got one for all of the books that we are covering this month, as well as some like multi-book posters for you. So I've got not only these posters in there, but the Canva link so that you can then take these and you can trade out whatever you want. And you can use them all year. So maybe you're like, okay, I like 2 of these First Chapter Fridays for the month, but I want to pick 2 other ones. Just take mine out and put yours in. So editable Canva templates, all good. And then the last thing in here are some timer videos. Timers are a strategy, a tool that I use in my room all the time because I get distracted or too deep into an activity and time passes by that I too much time that I didn't want to spend. So these timer videos, some strategies, and also the actual tools. So that is what I have for you this month in the pre-planned calendar. I'm excited about all of them. It's always amazing to start a new school year and like that fresh start, like what other career gets to begin again, like every time. It's such a gift to have that restart, that fresh start. So I'm excited for you. I'm excited for your classroom, for using these resources. As always, email me any questions you have. If you are watching this and you are not a member of the Word Nerd Collaborative already, and you want to be because you want access to all of these things in a membership, plus support from teacher friends and a website hub and a Facebook group and all the things, I will put the link down there for that as well. Thank you for being here. Thank you for teaching. It's an important job, and I'm grateful for you. All right. See you again next time. Happy teaching.